Yehovah Nistar, Yehovah who is hidden. You are never absent, even when unseen. Though your name is hidden in this scroll, your providence is present in every detail. Expose hidden schemes and awaken your people to trust your unseen hand. Yehovah Elohi, Yehovah Nistar. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Please fill me and lead me and cover me and stir me and speak through me with your Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness and humility to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts and mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. Hand, behold, nail, behold. Esther, chapter 3. Sometime later, King Achashverosh began to single out Aleph Tav Haman, the son of Hamdata, the Aggai, for advancement. Eventually, he gave Aleph Tav him precedence over all his fellow officers. All the king's servants at the king's gate would kneel and bow down before Haman, because the king had so ordered. But Mordecai would neither kneel nor bow down to him. The king's servants at the king's gate asked Mordecai, "Why don't you obey the king's order, the king's Aleph Tav order?" But after they had confronted him a number of times without paying him paying attention to them, they told Haman, in order to find out whether Mordecai's explanation that he was a Jew would suffice to justify his behavior. Haman was furious when he saw that Mordecai was not kneeling or bowing down to him. However, on learning what the people Mordecai belonged to, it seemed to him a waste to lay hands on Mordecai alone. Rather, he decided to destroy all of the Aleph Tav Mordecai's people, Aleph Tav the Jews, throughout the whole of Achashverosh's kingdom. In this first month, the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of Achashverosh, they began throwing pure, that is, they cast lots, before Haman every day and every month until the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. Then Haman said to Achashverosh, "There is a particular people scattered and dispersed among the peoples in all the provinces of your kingdom. Their Aleph Tav laws are different from those of every other people. Moreover, they observe the king's laws. They don't observe the king's laws. It doesn't befit the king to tolerate them. If it pleases the king, have a decree written for their destruction. And I will hand over 330 tons of silver and officials in charge of the king's affairs to deposit in the royal treasury." The king took his Aleph Tav signet ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, the son of Hamdata, the Aggai, the enemy of the Jews. The king said to Haman, "The money is given to you and the people too. Do with it as seems good to you." The king's secretaries were summoned on the 13th day of the first month. They wrote down all Haman's orders to the king's armies, commanders, and governors in all the provinces, and the officials of every people, to each province in its own script, and to each people in their own language. Everything was written in the name of King Achashverosh and sealed with the king's signet ring. Letters were sent by courier to all the royal provinces to destroy, kill, and exterminate Aleph Tav, all Jews, from young to old, including small children and women, on a specific day, the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar, to seize their goods as plunder. A copy of the document is to be issued as a decree in every province, was to be publicly proclaimed to all the peoples, so that they would be ready for that day. At the king's orders, the runners went out quickly, and the decree was issued in Shushan, the capital. Then the king of Haman sat down for a drink together, but the city of Shushan was thrown into confusion. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading this interesting third chapter of Esther? We can love Yehovah by trusting His providence even when it feels hidden. Love Yehovah by refusing to bow to worldly power when it defies righteousness. Love Yehovah by remembering His covenant even when under threat. How can we love our neighbors as Yeshua loves us? By refusing to remain silent in face of injustice, especially when others are targeted. How can we bear one another's burdens? By interceding boldly for those under threat and taking action against evil decrees. What are the top 3 fruits of the Spirit found? 1. Faithfulness. Mordecai remains loyal to Yehovah despite threats. 2. Self-control. Mordecai resists the impulse to bow for self-preservation. 3. Courage. This chapter demands inner strength to stand against unjust rulers. What is the Hebrew word that encapsulates this chapter? Chazer. A decree, edict, verdict, especially one of destruction or judgment. Anchor sentence. Esther reveals how a single wicked decree, gerzar, rooted in pride and power, can put the covenant people in peril, but it will not have the final word. At Sefer Gazar, a decree is a spiritual force that moves through power with cutting intent, impacting destinies, and requiring divine revelation to overcome. How can we find Yeshua in the chapter? Mordecai's defiance mirrors Yeshua's refusal to bow to Satan's dominion. The Jews under a death decree point to humanity under sin's judgment before the cross. Hidden deliverance reflects Yeshua's concealed victory under the resurrection. A mitzvah response, Torah-based, mitzvah. Exodus 23 verse 2. Do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. A response might look like this: I will stand apart from systems of injustice, even when silence seems safer. Yehovah sees. Hebrew declaration. Gizar lo takum al Elohi Yisrael. The evil decree will not stand against the people of the God of Israel. We'll end this awesome, detailed third chapter of how God's about to intervene in a very complicated situation. Chapter 3 of Esther with the Aaronic blessing in this new week using the name. Yehovah will kneel before you presenting gifts, and He will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehovah will illuminate the wholeness of His being toward you, bringing order, and He'll provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehovah will lift up the wholeness of His being and look upon you and set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Shalom, shalom.